Assumptions shape everything in our lives. They dictate how we see the world, how we react to situations, how we interact with others, and ultimately how we experience life. Assumptions are not just passive thoughts floating in our minds. They are the invisible architects of our reality. Whether we realize it or not, every moment of every day we are making assumptions. We assume what people mean when they speak. We assume how they feel when they act. We assume the outcome of situations before they even unfold. These assumptions become the lens through which we see the world, and they influence every decision we make, every emotion we feel, and every action we take. Consider this. If two people walk into the same room, see the same people, hear the same words, and experience the same energy, they can walk away with completely different interpretations of what just happened. Why? Because they entered the room with different assumptions. One might assume that everyone in the room is warm, welcoming, and excited to see them. The other might assume that people are judging them, uninterested, or even hostile. And because of those assumptions, their experiences will be worlds apart, even though the external reality is the same. This happens everywhere in life. Two people can receive the same text message and interpret it completely differently. One assumes it was written with kindness, the other assumes it was meant with sarcasm or coldness. The same event, two completely different emotional responses simply because of assumptions. Now let's take this into deeper territory. What happens when we assume failure before we even start? What happens when we assume rejection before we even ask? What happens when we assume disappointment before we even try? We self-sabotage. We don't show up fully. We play small. We hesitate. And in doing so, we actually create the very thing we feared. Imagine someone who believes that people don't like them. Everywhere they go, they assume others are uninterested or annoyed by their presence. Because of this assumption, they withdraw. They don't engage fully. Their energy is low, their tone is defensive, their body language is closed off. And what happens? People do, in fact, respond with less enthusiasm. Not because they didn't like this person to begin with, but because they are simply responding to the energy they're receiving. The assumption became reality not because it was true, but because it shaped the behavior that made it true. The opposite is also true. Have you ever met someone who just radiates confidence? Someone who assumes that people love them, assume that things will go their way, assume that life is working for them? It's almost as if the world bends to their expectations. And in a way it does. Because when you assume that people like you, you act in a way that makes it easy for them to like you. When you assume that opportunities will come, you open yourself up to them instead of blocking them. This is why the assumptions we hold are so critical. They aren't just thoughts in our head. They are instructions to our subconscious mind. They tell us how to feel, how to react, how to interpret every moment. If we assume that life is happening to us, we feel like victims. If we assume that life is happening for us, we feel empowered. If we assume people are against us, we find proof of it everywhere. If we assume people are on our side, we find proof of that instead. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life is to become aware of your assumptions. Most people never do this. They just go through life reacting, never questioning the thoughts that dictate their world. But if you take a moment to step back and ask, what am I assuming right now? You open the door to transformation. Let's say you send a message to a friend and they don't respond. You immediately feel uneasy. What are you assuming? Are you assuming they are ignoring you? Are you assuming they are upset? Are you assuming they no longer care? Notice what happens in your body when you assume these things. Your heart beats faster, your stomach tightens, your mood shifts. But what if you assume something different? What if you assume they were busy? What if you assume they saw the message and meant to respond later? What if you assume they are going through something and it has nothing to do with you? Instantly, your internal world changes. Your stress fades, your perspective widens. Nothing about the situation has changed, only your assumption. And that's the key. Most of our emotional pain doesn't come from what actually happens, but from what we assume it means. If a man gives you a hug, what do you assume? Some people assume it's a sign of affection. Others assume it's an obligation. Some assume it's a sign of comfort. Others assume it's weakness. The hug itself is neutral. It's just two people embracing. The meaning, however, is entirely shaped by assumption. Think about relationships. How many arguments start not because of what was said, but because of what was assumed? One person assumes the other meant something hurtful. The other assumes they are being attacked. And suddenly, a simple comment turns into a full-blown conflict. Not because of reality, but because of assumption. Think about success. How many people assume they are not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough? They assume success is for other people, not them. They assume they will fail, so they don't even try. They assume the odds are against them, so they never take action. And as a result, they never break through, not because they weren't capable, but because their assumptions kept them stuck. And this is the most important truth. Your assumptions are a choice. You might not control the thoughts that pop into your mind, but you do control which ones you believe. You control which ones you feed. You control which ones shape your life. Huh? So if assumptions are creating your reality, why not choose empowering ones? Why not assume people are rooting for you? Why not assume life is on your side? Why not assume that even in the toughest moments, there is something valuable to be gained? Because at the end of the day, assumptions are like seeds. Whatever you plant grows. If you plant doubt, you harvest hesitation. If you plant fear, you harvest limitation. But if you plant confidence, if you plant faith, if you plant possibility, your life will begin to shift in ways you never imagined. Human beings are wired for connection. From the moment we are born, we crave touch, closeness, and a sense of belonging. It is not just a preference. It is a fundamental need. Science has proven this over and over again. Babies who are not held, nurtured, or shown affection in their early years suffer not only emotionally, but physically. Their bodies don't develop the same way. Their brains don't wire the same way. Why? Because connection is more than just a feeling. It is fuel for the human soul. Every person you see walking down the street, sitting in a cafe, working at their desk, or lost in their thoughts has the same core desire: to be seen, to be valued, to feel like they matter. No matter how independent or self-sufficient someone may seem, no one is immune to the need for connection. We are social creatures, designed to thrive in relationships, built to seek out bonds with others. And yet, in today's world, many people walk around disconnected, not because they want to be, but because they have forgotten just how essential connection is. They have been hurt. They have been disappointed. They have built walls, convincing themselves that they don't need others. But deep down, the need remains. Think about the most powerful moments in your life. The ones that truly moved you, the ones that shaped you. Were they moments of isolation, or were they moments of connection? Maybe it was a hug from a loved one after a devastating loss. Maybe it was a conversation with a mentor who saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself. Maybe it was a moment of laughter with a friend when you needed it most. The common thread in these moments is not what was said or done. It is the connection that was shared. This is why human connection is fuel. It has the power to heal wounds that logic cannot. It has the power to lift spirits when nothing else seems to work. It has the power to remind us that no matter how difficult life gets, we are not alone. But here's the challenge. Most people are running on empty. They are starving for connection, yet they do not know how to receive it. They do not know how to give it. They hesitate. They resist. They keep their distance, not realizing that what they are avoiding is the very thing they need most. Consider the power of a simple hug. To some, it is just an action, but to someone who is struggling, to someone who feels unseen, a hug can be life-changing. A hug carries energy. It says, I see you, I acknowledge you. You are not alone. A hug can communicate in a second what words sometimes fail to express. Now imagine a world where people truly understood this. Imagine a world where people stopped hesitating and started connecting. Imagine if, instead of walking past each other with guarded hearts, people opened up, even just a little. The impact would be profound. Stress would decrease. Loneliness would fade. Relationships would deepen. Because when people feel connected, they feel safe. And when they feel safe, they operate from a place of strength rather than fear. Think about the last time you felt deeply connected to another human being. What did that do for you? How did it shift your mood? How did it change your perspective? When we connect, our problems don't necessarily disappear, but they become easier to face. Connection reminds us that we don't have to carry our burdens alone. Connection reminds us that we don't have to carry our burdens alone. But connection is not just about receiving, it is also about giving. One of the greatest truths in life is that when you give the thing you need most, you receive it in abundance. If you need love, give love. If you need kindness, show kindness. If you need support, offer support. The energy you put out into the world always finds its way back to you. Yet so many people wait. They wait for others to reach out. They wait for others to take the first step. They wait for someone else to offer what they so desperately need. But waiting only leads to more distance, more hesitation, more disconnection. The people who experience the deepest, most fulfilling relationships are the ones who take action. They are the ones who initiate. They are the ones who understand that connection is not something you find, it is something you create. Consider the impact of small moments. A smile at a stranger, a genuine compliment, a touch on the shoulder that says, I'm here for you. These tiny acts, seemingly insignificant, can change someone's entire day. Because at the core of every human being is the same question: do I matter? And the answer is always yes. But people forget. They get caught up in the chaos of life. They get lost in their own struggles. They build walls to protect themselves, not realizing that these same walls are keeping them from the very thing that could heal them. Connection is fuel, but only if we allow ourselves to receive it. Only if we open up. Only if we stop seeing life as a battle to be fought alone and start recognizing the strength that comes from standing together. The world today is filled with distractions. Social media gives the illusion of connection while often deepening isolation. People have more ways to communicate than ever before, yet genuine human interaction is decreasing. Technology can enhance connection, but it can never replace it. A text message cannot replace a warm embrace. A comment on a post cannot replace a warm embrace. A comment on a post cannot replace a deep face-to-face conversation. True connection requires presence. It requires vulnerability. It requires the courage to step outside of your own world and into someone else's. It requires the willingness to give without expectation and to receive without resistance. And most of all, connection requires a shift in perspective. A realization that no one is truly alone, no matter how much it may feel that way. A recognition that every person you meet is carrying something unseen, and a small act of connection could make all the difference. And that this is the answer to that act. Every person you see is longing for the same thing you are, to be seen, to be heard, to be valued. And when we truly embrace this truth, the way we move through the world changes. We stop holding back. We stop assuming disconnection. We start giving the very thing that has the power to transform not only our lives, but the lives of those around us. Think about it. Two people can experience the same situation, but the way they describe it changes everything. One person says, "This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I'm never going to recover from this." Another person says, "This is a challenge, but I'm going to find a way through it. I've overcome obstacles before, and I'll do it again." The first person feels hopeless and stuck. The second person feels determined and resourceful. Same event, different words, completely different emotions and outcomes. Your brain listens to everything you say, whether you realize it or not. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your brain will look for evidence to support that belief. If you say, "I always mess things up," your subconscious will reinforce that pattern. If you repeat, "I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed," guess what? You will feel even more tired, more stressed, and more overwhelmed. Life is not about what happens to you. It's about how you interpret what happens to you. Two people can go through the same event and walk away with completely different experiences, not because of what happened, but because of the meaning they assign to it. Think about that for a second. The same external event, two different meanings, two different lives. This is the power of perception. This is the power of meaning. And this is what separates those who thrive from those who struggle. When something happens in your life, your brain immediately asks a question. What does this mean? The answer you give determines how you feel, and how you feel determines how you respond. This process happens so fast that most people don't even realize it's happening. They assume that their emotions are caused by external events, but in reality, their emotions are caused by the meaning they give to those events. Let's break it down. Imagine you walk into a room and someone you know doesn't acknowledge you. One person might think they're upset with me. Another person might think they didn't see me. Someone else might think they must be having a bad day. Three different meanings, three different emotional reactions. The first person feels hurt or offended. The second person feels neutral. The third person feels compassion. The event was the same. The meaning changed everything. Now, let's take this to a larger scale. Imagine two people experience failure. One person assigns the meaning, "I'm a failure, I'll never succeed." The other assigns the meaning, "This is a lesson, I'm getting stronger." One person gives up, the other grows. Same event, different meaning, different life paths. This is why meaning is everything. It dictates your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. Most people live their lives reacting to events without ever questioning the meaning they give to them. They assume their interpretations are the truth, when in reality they are just one possible perspective out of many. Consider this. Every major transformation in history started with a shift in meaning. The same event that could have been seen as a tragedy became a turning point. The same loss that could have broken someone became their greatest motivation. The same hardship that could have made someone bitter became the reason they developed unshakable strength. The greatest leaders, the most successful people, the happiest individuals all understand this. They don't let life define them, they define life. They don't let circumstances control them. They control the meaning they give to circumstances. But most people don't do this. Most people are stuck in patterns of meaning they don't even realize they're choosing. They take things personally. They assume the worst. They tell themselves stories that disempower them. And there's no real power in feelings at all. Think about relationships. How many conflicts arise not because of what was said, but because of the meaning assigned to it? Someone forgets to call and one person thinks, they don't care about me. Another person thinks, they must be busy. The first person feels hurt. The second person feels understanding. The same situation, two completely different emotional experiences. Think about success. Some people fail and believe it means they're not good enough. Others fail and believe it means they're one step closer to success. The difference between the two is not intelligence, not talent, not luck, it's meaning. Now let's go even deeper. The meaning you give doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects what you attract. If you assign a negative meaning to events, you will live in a negative emotional state. And from that state, you will make worse decisions, take fewer chances, and reinforce the very outcome you feared. But if you assign an empowering meaning, you will live in an empowered state. And from that state, you will take bolder actions, see more opportunities, and create a reality that supports your success. Weave the powerful energy of skill practice and purpose-driven life into the day. This is why two people can grow up in the same environment, face the same struggles, and yet end up with completely different lives. It's not about what happened. It's about what they decided it meant. Take a moment to think about your own life. What are the meanings you've been giving to events? What stories have you been telling yourself? What assumptions have you made that may not even be true? How many times have you assigned a meaning that disempowered you when another meaning could have set you free? And this is where the real power lies. Because once you realize that meaning is a choice, you take control of your life. You stop being a victim of circumstance. You stop letting old interpretations define you. You stop repeating the same patterns of suffering. Most people never take this step. They live on autopilot, accepting whatever meaning their mind automatically assigns. But those who do take this step, those who consciously choose their meanings, those who reframe their experiences in ways that empower them, those people change everything. Every moment is an opportunity to shift your meaning. Every setback is an opportunity to find strength. Every failure is an opportunity to grow. Every rejection is an opportunity to redirect. Every challenge is an opportunity to rise. When you change the meaning, you change the experience. When you change the experience, you change your emotions. When you change your emotions, you change your actions. When you change your actions, you change your life. And it all starts with meaning. Your body and mind are not separate, they are one. Every emotion you feel is linked to your physical state. Every decision you make is influenced by the way you move, breathe, and hold yourself. Your physiology is the foundation of your mental and emotional well-being. Yet most people never consciously take control of it. Think about the last time you felt truly confident. How was your body positioned? Were your shoulders back? Was your head held high? Were you breathing deeply and fully? Now think about a time when you felt defeated. What was different? Were your shoulders slumped? Was your gaze down? Was your breathing shallow? The way you carry yourself is not just a reflection of how you feel, it is a cause of how you feel. Science has proven this. Your posture, your facial expressions, your breathing patterns all send signals to your brain telling it how to feel. If you stand tall, move with energy, and breathe deeply, your brain receives the message that you are strong, capable, and in control. If you slouch, move sluggishly, and breathe shallowly, your brain gets the message that you are weak, tired, and overwhelmed. Your body is constantly communicating with your mind, shaping your emotions without you even realizing it. Most people go through life unaware of this connection. They let their emotions dictate their body, instead of using their body to influence their emotions. When they feel sad, they collapse inward. When they feel stressed, they tense up. When they feel anxious, they breathe rapidly. They assume their state is something that just happens to them, but in reality, it is something they are creating through their physiology. This is why top performers, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders pay close attention to their physical state. They understand that if they want to feel powerful, they must move powerfully. If they want to feel energized, they must breathe deeply. If they want to feel unstoppable, they must carry themselves as if nothing can shake them. They don't wait for confidence to appear. They create it by shifting their body first. 2. Take a moment to experiment with this right now. Stand up, pull your shoulders back, lift your chest, take a deep breath in through your nose, and exhale fully through your mouth. Smile, even if you don't feel like it. Hold this position for just a few seconds. Notice what happens. Your mind starts to shift. Your energy starts to rise. Your emotions begin to follow your body's lead. Now try the opposite. Slouch forward. Drop your head. Breathe in a shallow, weak way. Frown. Stay in this posture for a few seconds. Notice how your mood begins to drop. Your energy diminishes. Your confidence fades. Nothing changed in your external world, only your physiology. Yet your entire emotional state shifted in an instant. This is happening all the time. The way you move, the way you sit, the way you breathe, all of it is shaping your emotions moment by moment. If you want to change how you feel, the fastest way to do it is not to think differently, but to move differently. Your mind will follow your body's lead. This is especially important in moments of stress, doubt, or fear. When you face a challenge, your body's instinct is often to shrink. Your breathing becomes restricted. Your muscles tighten. Your energy drops. And as a result, your mind interprets this as danger. It starts generating negative thoughts, reinforcing feelings of fear and anxiety. But if, in that moment, you take control of your physiology, if you breathe deeply, expand your posture, and move with strength, you send a completely different message to your brain. You tell it, I've got this. And your brain responds accordingly. Think about someone who walks into a room with confidence. You can sense it before they even speak. They stand tall, they move with purpose, they exude energy. Now think about someone who walks in unsure of themselves. Their posture is closed off. Their movements are hesitant. Their energy is low. Before they even say a word, you can tell how they feel about themselves. This is why mastering your physiology is one of the most powerful tools you can develop. It is an instant shift available to you at any moment. You don't have to wait for motivation. You don't have to wait for circumstances to change. You don't have to wait for permission. You can take control right now by changing the way you move, breathe, and carry yourself. This is also why movement is essential. When you exercise, your body floods with endorphins, natural chemicals that create feelings of happiness and confidence. When you move dynamically, your energy rises. When you stretch and open up your body, you feel more expansive, more capable, more alive. Too many people live in a state of low energy, not because they lack motivation, but because they are not using their bodies in a way that generates energy. They sit for hours, barely moving, barely breathing. They trap themselves in a posture of stress and fatigue, never realizing that they have the power to change it in an instant. Breath is another key. Most people breathe in a shallow, restricted way, sending signals of stress to their nervous system. But when you breathe deeply, inhale fully, expanding your diaphragm, and exhale completely, you activate a different state. You shift from stress to calm, from tension to clarity, from weakness to strength. This is why practices like yoga, martial arts, and meditation all emphasize breath and movement. They understand that when you control your physiology, you control your mind. When you master your body, you master your emotions. And this doesn't just apply to confidence or stress, it applies to every area of life. If you want to feel more joy, move like a joyful person. If you want to feel more love, breathe in a way that creates openness and warmth. If you want to feel more focused, sit and stand in a way that commands attention. Most people wait for their emotions to change before they change their behavior. But the truth is, if you change your behavior first, your emotions will follow. If you move with power, you will feel powerful. If you breathe with calmness, you will feel calm. If you carry yourself like someone who is unstoppable, you will become unstoppable. The words you speak, both out loud and in your own mind, shape your reality. Every sentence you say, every thought you entertain, and every belief you reinforce is programming your brain, training it to see the world in a certain way. Words are not just descriptions of reality, they are instructions to your subconscious mind, telling it what to focus on, what to feel, and what to expect. Think about it. Two people can experience the same situation, but the way they describe it changes everything. One person says, "This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I'm never going to recover from this." Another person says, "This is a challenge, but I'm going to find a way through it. I've overcome obstacles before, and I'll do it again." The first person feels hopeless and stuck. The second person feels determined and resourceful. Same event, different words, completely different emotions and outcomes. The brain listens to everything you say, whether you realize it or not. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your brain will look for evidence to support that belief. If you say, "I always mess things up," your subconscious will reinforce that pattern. If you repeat, "I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed," guess what? You will feel even more tired, more stressed, and more overwhelmed. But the opposite is also true. If you tell yourself, "I am strong, I am capable, I am resourceful," your brain will start finding ways to prove those statements true. If you say every challenge is an opportunity to grow, you will begin seeing obstacles as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. If you say, "I am filled with energy and excitement," your body will respond by generating that energy. Words are powerful because they direct your focus. And whatever you focus on, you feel. If you focus on what's wrong, you'll feel stuck and powerless. If you focus on solutions, you'll feel motivated and creative. Your words determine what you focus on. And what you focus on determines how you experience life. Consider the language of highly successful people. They don't say, "I can't do this." They say, "How can I make this work?" They don't say, "I'm a failure." They say, "I'm learning and getting better every day." They don't say, "This is impossible." They say, "There is always a way." Their language creates a mindset of resilience, growth, and determination. Now think about people who struggle. Their language reflects their beliefs. "Nothing ever goes right for me. I'll never be successful. I always have bad luck. Life is unfair." These statements may feel like they are just describing reality, but in truth, they are reinforcing a negative mindset that makes it harder to break free. The words you use don't just affect your mind, they affect your body. Studies have shown that negative self-talk increases stress hormones, weakens the immune system, and drains energy. On the other hand, positive, empowering language releases endorphins, boosts confidence, and creates a sense of momentum. This is why changing your language is one of the fastest ways to change your life. Instead of saying, "I have to go to work," say, "I get to go to work and make an impact." Instead of saying, "I'm stuck," say, "I'm in the process of finding a solution." Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I'm learning and getting stronger every day." The shift may seem small, but the impact is enormous. Even the words you use to describe emotions shape how you experience them. If you say, "I'm devastated," you will feel completely overwhelmed. But if you say, I'm a little disappointed, but I'll find a way through this, your mind immediately shifts into a more constructive state. Think about anger. If you tell yourself, I'm furious, this is unacceptable, your body will respond with tension, stress, and an adrenaline rush. But if you say, I'm a little frustrated, but I'll handle this with clarity and confidence, your emotional response will be completely different. The same applies to fear. If you say, I'm terrified, I can't do this, your body will go into fight or flight mode. But if you say, I'm feeling a little uncertain, but I trust myself to figure it out, your brain stays calm and focused. Your words do not just describe reality, they create it. If you want a better life, you must start by choosing better words. This means eliminating disempowering phrases from your vocabulary. Stop saying, I'm not good at this, and start saying, I'm improving every day. Stop saying, I always fail, and start saying, every setback is a lesson that makes me stronger. Stop saying, I'm overwhelmed, and start saying, I have everything I need to handle this. One of the most powerful ways to reprogram your mind is through affirmations. Intentional, empowering statements that shape your identity and beliefs. The key is to speak them as if they are already true. Instead of saying, I hope to be successful someday, say, I am successful and I create opportunities everywhere I go. Instead of saying, I want to be confident, say, I am confident, strong, and capable. At first, your brain may resist. It may say, that's not true. But the more you repeat these statements, the more your subconscious will accept them as reality. And once your mind believes them, your actions will follow. When you reach for your phone, you realize your mistake. This is why language is one of the most powerful tools for transformation. Every time you speak, you are casting a vote for the kind of person you want to become. Every time you choose empowering words, you are wiring your brain for success. Your words don't just influence you, they influence the people around you. When you speak with confidence and certainty, people feel it. When you use empowering language, others respond to you differently. When you speak with positivity, you create an environment that lifts others up. Think about the most inspiring leaders, mentors, and role models. They don't just give information. They use words to ignite belief, to create vision, to spark action. They choose their words carefully, knowing that language shapes reality. Most people go through life unaware of the power of their words. They speak carelessly, not realizing they are reinforcing their own limitations. But those who master their language master their life. They speak with intention. They choose words that empower them. They create a reality of strength, confidence, and possibility simply by the way they talk to themselves and others. If you want to transform your life, start with your words. Speak as if you are already the person you want to become. Speak as if success, confidence, and abundance are already yours. Because the truth is, the moment you start speaking it, you start believing it. And the moment you believe it, you start living it. Emotion doesn't just happen to you. It is something you generate. Most people believe that feelings are automatic responses to external events. But in reality, emotion is a direct result of movement, of motion. The way you move, the way you breathe, the way you use your face and body, all of these create and shape your emotional state. If you want to feel different, you don't have to wait for something outside of you to change. You can take control in an instant by changing your motion, your physiology, your gestures, your level of activity. These are the tools that determine how you feel. Energy, passion, confidence, excitement, these are not things that just appear. They are things you create through movement. Think about what happens when you're feeling down. What does your body do? Most likely your shoulders slump, your head tilts downward, your breathing becomes shallow, and your energy drops. Now think about what happens when you're excited. Your body moves faster, your posture is upright, your breathing is deep and full. These differences aren't just reflections of how you feel, they are the reasons you feel that way. The link between motion and emotion is so powerful that you can shift how you feel in seconds simply by changing how you move. If you stand up tall, pull your shoulders back, breathe deeply, and move with purpose, your mind will follow. If you jump up and down, shake out your arms, and smile, your body will send signals of energy and excitement to your brain. This happens instantly, no matter what was happening in your mind just moments before. The fastest way to change your emotional state is to radically change your physical state. If you're feeling tired, don't just sit there hoping for more energy. Get up, move, stretch, jump, dance. If you're feeling stuck, don't just overthink. Start taking action, even if it's small. If you're feeling stressed, change your breathing, go for a walk, engage in movement that shifts your focus. People who master their emotions understand this principle at the deepest level. They don't wait to feel motivated before they take action. They take action to create motivation. They don't wait for happiness to come to them. They generate happiness by moving their bodies in a way that produces joy. They don't allow fear to freeze them in place. They break through it by moving forward, by using their physiology to take control of their mental state. Think about a time when you felt completely unstoppable. What were you doing? Were you sitting still, breathing shallowly, and thinking about your problems? No. You were likely moving with intensity, engaging fully in what you were doing, using your body in a way that created momentum and drive. That feeling wasn't an accident. It was a direct result of motion. And this isn't just about big, explosive movements. Even small shifts in motion create powerful changes in emotion. The way you breathe, for example, is one of the most important factors in how you feel. If you're breathing quickly and shallowly, your body interprets it as stress. If you breathe deeply, fully, and slowly, your nervous system relaxes, your mind becomes clear, and your emotions shift. I am healed, and that is the first step. This is why athletes, performers, and high achievers all focus on their breathing. Before stepping into a high-pressure situation, they don't just rely on willpower to control their emotions. They use breath work, movement, and physical rituals to step into a peak state. They train themselves to associate certain motions with confidence, energy, and certainty, so that whenever they need to perform at their best, they know exactly how to trigger that state instantly. The most successful people don't let their emotions dictate their actions. They let their actions dictate their emotions. They understand that if they move like someone who is powerful, they will feel powerful. If they move like someone who is passionate, they will feel passionate. If they move like someone who is courageous, they will feel courageous. Motion creates emotion, and emotion determines behavior. This is why physical rituals are so powerful. If you develop consistent movements that put you in a peak state, you will be able to step into that state whenever you need it. Whether it's a certain way you breathe, a power pose you hold, an exercise you do, or a movement you make before tackling a challenge, these physical habits will become triggers for emotional strength. Think about professional fighters before they enter the ring. They don't walk in slouched over, breathing weakly, looking unsure. They bounce on their feet, they expand their chest, they breathe deeply, they move with intensity. That motion is what creates their warrior mindset. That motion is what puts them in the state to perform at their highest level. In fact, the same applies to anyone in any field. The best salespeople don't just sit passively before a big call. They move, they pump themselves up, they use motion to create certainty. The best leaders don't just slump in their chair and expect to inspire people. They stand, they project confidence. They use their body to communicate energy and belief. The best speakers don't just stand stiff and read words. They move with passion. They engage their entire body. They use motion to ignite emotion in their audience. And this applies to everyday life as well. If you want to feel more joy, don't just wait for something good to happen. Move your body in a way that creates joy. If you want to feel more motivated, don't just hope for motivation to strike. Take action, start moving, and let momentum carry you forward. If you want to feel more connected to others, don't just sit silently. Open your posture, make eye contact, engage physically in the conversation. Tongue. The mistake most people make is thinking that emotions control their actions. But the truth is, your actions control your emotions. If you sit still and wait to feel energized, you may be waiting forever. But if you move with energy, if you create motion, your body will generate the emotions you need. This is why movement is one of the most powerful tools for overcoming fear, doubt, and hesitation. Fear thrives in stillness. Doubt grows in inaction. But the moment you start moving, the moment you take action, fear loses its grip. Motion breaks the pattern of overthinking. Motion forces your mind to shift gears. Motion generates the momentum you need to push forward. Every emotion you want to feel is available to you at any moment. You just have to create the motion that generates it. If you learn to master your movement, you will master your life. Everything you feel, everything you believe, and everything you experience is within your control. Your emotions are not random. Your mindset is not fixed. Your success is not determined by luck. The life you live is a direct reflection of the habits, language, movement, and beliefs you choose every single day. If you want to change your life, you must start by changing yourself. Your physiology shapes your reality, so stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with power. Your words create your world, so speak with certainty, eliminate doubt, and rewire your mind with empowering language. Your emotions are created by motion, so take action, generate energy, and break free from hesitation. Most people wait for life to change before they change themselves. They wait for confidence before they take action. They wait for motivation before they move. They wait for the right circumstances before they decide to step into their power. But that's not how transformation happens. If you want to feel different, you must act differently. If you want a new reality, you must create it through your decisions, your actions, and your daily rituals. You have everything you need within you right now. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need to wait for the right moment, because this is the right moment, the moment you decide to take control, the moment you choose to step into your power, the moment you commit to living at a higher standard. Everything changes. Your body is your tool. Your words are your weapon. Your motion is your fuel. Master these and you will master your mind. Master your mind and you will master your destiny. Because in the end, success, happiness, confidence, and fulfillment aren't things you hope for. They are things you create. And you, right now, have the power to create anything you desire.